Greetings and welcome, Queen City Psychic Medium here, doing business as Cincy Psychic LLC. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the Roadhouse. That's right, the Roadhouse Barracks, the Roadhouse Barracks murders. This video is not meant for children, so I will tell you that right off the bat, okay? This is a true story. It's about a murder that has never been solved. So it is an unsolved murder, okay? I'm pulling it together the best I can to tell you the story because I once was, traumatized by it. I'm not going to lie to you, okay? Okay, so the Roadhouse. Now, I first went to the Roadhouse when I was 3.5 years old in 1967. The purpose of me going to the Roadhouse and being introduced to the Roadhouse was for psychic development. I had done a video on my spaceship memories, okay? I still have lots more to do on that. There's more to cover because I'm still on the first spaceship experience, and I've had several, okay? And I did not go over the briefing and all that and the future and what was shown and all that yet. And that's going to be spaceship memory number 3, okay, when I do that one. Anyway, so the little boy, one of the little boys that accompanied me on the spaceship along with his parents, as my parents, as I explained in my video, we were both sent to be trained in our psychic abilities by a woman named Shelley. Okay, her name was Michelle. I do have possibly some of her last name, which I am not going to say on video for the world to see. I will say she is from, hold on, it's Illinois. Okay, I'm going to say this, Lansing, but not the capital. So it's not Michigan, all right? It's Illinois. Okay, my phone I did not have on mute, now it is. All righty. Okay, so the Roadhouse. So one time when I was there, and I just want to say this. It's not that I think I went to the Roadhouse as a kid. My paternal and maternal family members know because they've been there as well. Okay, my father has a sister and a brother who has been there. And my mother has a couple sisters who have been there. And it had been talked about, so it wasn't any secret we went to the Roadhouse. The only thing that family doesn't know is that I was being trained in psychic abilities there, along with a little boy that went on the spaceship with me. Okay, and he did drop out. I went there at least a handful of times or more, and the little boy went there probably 3 or 4 times, and he dropped out. Okay, and didn't return, probably because he was picking up what was about to happen, even if he could not verbally express it, okay? He sensed, I'm sure, what was about to happen. All right, so one day when we were at the Roadhouse, and I was not there for psychic ability practice and development, I believe the psychic development was on Tuesdays, okay? I have very good reason to believe that. All righty, so my father was talking to someone. I'm just kind of standing there in the big open foyer. The Roadhouse was a big house. And a bunch of people rented rooms from it. Okay? And I do not know, but I do believe, so they'll tell you there was a Roadhouse on Howe Street in Clifton. I will tell you what I remember is Lafayette and McAlpin and Mount Storm Park. Okay? All right? So the Roadhouse was a big house where bikers and college students and whoever rented rooms there. All right? And this is the 60s, and it was like that in the 60s. Okay? All right. So you had the different groups of people. Okay? So Shelley was a college student, psychology, probably parapsychology. Okay, because she was training us in psychic abilities, development. All right, so I'm there one day with my father, and there's some teenagers with album covers. They're like 18, 19, and the little girl is telling, the teenage girl, because I'm older now, they seem like kids to me because my son is older than them now. All right, so the teenagers, the young adults, the female has an album of the Rolling Stones. The male has an album with the Beatles. They were kind of arguing a little bit over what album they were going to put on the record player, okay? And I'm just watching them, and then they notice that I'm just watching them kind of argue. My eyes are back and forth, watching them argue a little bit. And they said, little girl said, which one do you like? They decided they'd let me decide, right? And they said, which one do you like? And I said, I don't know, but that band's going to be around when I'm way older than you, talking about the Rolling Stones. And then I pointed to the Beatles. And I said, dead. And I pointed to John Lennon. Okay, the one with the glasses. And I said, dead. And they went, I said, dead, someone shot him. That's what I said. And I said, dead. And they said, dead? What do you mean dead? And I said, someone shot him. And they said, why would someone John Lennon's not dead. Nobody shot John Lennon. Why would somebody shoot John Lennon anyway? You're talking to a kid that's not even exactly 4 yet, just a few months from 4 years of age, okay? First of all, they knew I was there doing psychic development, as the little boy was, okay? So then they told my dad that I said John Lennon was dead, and my dad came over and was like, what? John Lennon's not dead? None of them got it. Okay, that's okay. They weren't trained to get it. All right, they weren't qualified. That's what gets me when somebody wants to test me. It's like, are you qualified to test me? Are you? Do you know how this works? Do you? Okay, anyway. All right, that's over. Oh, no, wait. I forgot the big part. I said, some people are going to get killed in this house. They're going to die in this house. All right? All right. Then I'm in trouble because I'm being a brat. All right. So that's that. We ended up leaving. There was no harsh feelings. It was just kind of, what's wrong with that kid? Right? I guess. Again, I don't know why they didn't get it. Okay? All righty. Fast forward. Months later. Okay? Because I'm pretty sure that was 67 and Christmas came and went because of just remembering how I was dressed. Okay? That it wasn't, really super cold. All right. So then one night, my parents, now remember, I went over all this with the ETs, okay? Because stuff panned out in the future, too, over this, all right? All right. So one night, I'm with my parents. I think we had left one of my grandparents' house or whatever, okay? And my dad says, you want to stop by the Roadhouse to my mom? And she says, I don't know. She didn't really like the place. She never really went there, hardly ever, maybe a couple times. Just a couple times. She didn't like it. I don't blame her. Okay? So my dad asked me, do I want to go by? And I said, okay. And I used to like going there. All right? So we went. Took a while for them to answer the door. Shelly wasn't home. She went camping. Okay. And Rodney answers the door. Rodney ended up being a dead guy that followed me for years. He had to see a famous psychic medium over that, right? Okay, so Rodney answers the door. Shelly's not there. She went camping. He says, come on in. We go up to the second floor. I do want to give a little description here. Get a drink of my water. All right. Now the front step. Okay, so here's the front door. The front steps, I do not remember being directly across from it, but maybe a little bit over to the right and up. Okay. Remember, I'm a little kid through all this, right? All right. So we go up the steps and then a little bit to the left and then forward, you go into the room on the second floor. That was Rodney's room. Enter Rodney's room. It's a closet to the left. Come over to the right a little bit. There's a fireplace straight ahead. There's a swinging door that goes to the kitchen on the second floor. Okay? There was a back door that led outside. Okay? You had to go down the steps. Okay, so there was also a back door entrance. All right? So we're there at the Roadhouse. I'm not going to go into way too much detail. Because, hey, maybe one day someone will come forward and then I can give them full detail. And then that way it works out better for closure, okay? Because that's just how cases work. Because there is a missing police report, all right? And I'm pretty sure, I think I know what's up with that, all righty? And I know there can be one that's, it can be found. One can be found. Alrighty? Alright. We're hanging out. There's 7 people besides me and my parents. No, 9. I don't remember if the other 2 did. I think the other 2 dudes that didn't end up dying or getting shot came along later. I don't really remember. I will describe them to you. One had red hair, and he had freckles, like red freckles. He had a normal, thin, average build. I'm going to say average height. So I'm going to say like 5'8", because I don't remember him being too tall. All right. Okay, punk. All right. And the other one was, I'm going to say dorky. That's how I'm going to describe him. Okay, because he was, I don't like these guys. All right. Because he was kind of stocky. He had brown hair. He was a little follower without his own mind. All right. And it was short hair. I don't remember if it had like a little wave to it or not, but brown hair. Okay, so there was those 2 idiots. Okay, so I want to describe the people. Okay, so my parents and I sit across the room on like an ottoman or a chair or both. I do remember them getting us something else to sit on. So I'm sitting with my parents. The fireplace was across the room. Rodney, he didn't take a seat. Okay, he stood. There was, I'm going to call him Iggy. I don't know their names. Okay, there was 2 couches. I think this was a love seat. Well, it doesn't matter. Okay, 2 couches across from each other. Okay, and then you see where I'm sitting on the ottoman, and the fireplace is across from me where my laptop is. Okay. Angled a little bit different because I'm a little to the left. So I'm going to call him Iggy. His girlfriend, we were talking about, they wanted to get married. Her parents were going to move. I think it was to Chicago, but I'm not sure. And they asked me because they all know I'm psychic. And we talk, a lot of the conversation was about me at first. Okay. And I say, no, you don't move. You go away. And they said, go away. And I didn't know what I meant by you go away. You just go away. Okay. So you got the dude I'm calling Iggy. I'm going to call her Cassandra because I'm not sure if her name was Constance or Cassandra. I'm just going to call her Cassandra for now. It might have been Connie. I don't know. Okay, so they were on the couch. He was sitting, okay, and she was lying down with her head on his lap. And sitting up a little bit and then lying down, okay. Now, across on the other couch, let's just call him dude that got shot in the head, okay. That's what I'm going to call sprained ankle because he had a sprained ankle, okay. Sprained ankle dude was sitting there. Okay. And then there was 2 dudes in that khaki green army coats that had no clue and had never been to the Roadhouse. Oh, I remember. The 2 dudes brought them. The redheaded kid and his buddy brought the 2 dudes. Okay, in the coat there. Now, hold on, because there was one, oh, okay, and then the brown-haired chick. Normal build, slim. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, because 7 were shot, 6 lived. So I want to go over this. Okay, I'm going to go over cases, and I'm going to go over murders and stuff on video and stuff that I've actually worked on. All right. This is my very, very first murder as a child. So for those of you who email me with your psychic kids and all that stuff, man, just lay back and let go and let great spirit, okay? Because you don't know what you can get them into when you try to push them to open up. I just want to say that. All right? Okay. Iggy, Cassandra, sprained ankle dude, 2 innocent dudes with real short haircuts. They were university students, I'm sure, at UC. Okay? I don't know for sure, but that's the vibe I get. Then there was the chick with the long, I'm going to say it's black or dark brown. Looked about the color mine does on video in this lighting. Okay. Long hair, straight. Don't remember if she had bangs or not. Now we're going to start going over things. Okay. And I'm going to describe them to you. Actually, I probably should have already did that. Went over what they look like. All right. So, I told you a bunch of the conversation was about me and my psychic stuff and the 2 guys that had never been to the Roadhouse that the 2 punks sitting over here, sitting on the floor, brought to their death. Okay? And y'all are going to pay for it. They are. Okay? All right? I want to go in the kitchen. I keep looking at the door. Looking at the door. Looking at the door. At least a 20-minute spread. Why you keep looking at the door? I don't know why I'm looking at the door. I honestly don't know. Okay? Probably don't want to know. Rodney takes my father and I into the kitchen. The back door's there. That's how I know there was a back door leading to outside. Because I've never been in that kitchen before or after. All right? My father says, your back door's unlocked, and he locks it. Rodney says, oh, that's okay. And he unlocks it. We go back in and we sit down. It was just a moment or two after that. You could hear the high-heeled boots of low-sparked boys. The low-spark, I don't remember. The low-spark sound of high-heeled boys. I never owned the album, so excuse me for not knowing the lyrics. Yeah, the low spark of high-heeled boys. Anytime I had heard that title, it reminded me of this. Because it's all in the music, people, I tell you that. And I'm going to have to put something together. It will take some work. And I just do these videos on the side. I don't write scripts. All right. Can hear thumps. They slammed open that back door. You could walking across. I'll never forget the sound of them walking across that room. That swinging door. Boom! Shot open, man. Shot open. It was the left hand. Immediate. That door flung open. I'm going to say 3 or 4 steps in. Boom! Shoots Iggy. Shoots Iggy. Sitting over here. Right? Iggy gets shot. Lower stomach. Okay? Okay? His girlfriend, I'm calling her Cassandra. She says, ah! Flings over. Has her head on her. Oh, God. She says, I'm telling your sister. So this guy's the dude that shot him. He used the name Butch at the time. But his real name was Barry. That's right. I'm going to say it. He's got another name, too. And there's 2 last names that I can give you. Okay? Oh, I got more. I got digits. I got digits. Yeah. Okay? I do. All right? For if any feds ever want to come ask, which you are the ones that took away the police report because you take payoffs. Anyway, okay, so back to the murder. Okay? Man, Cassandra just is on him crying with her arms around him. And that punk freaking shot her, man. right here in the chest. Her eyes immediately rolled back in her head. She was dead instantly. And my mom flipped. Oh my God. My parents, everybody flipped. Okay, and my mom, of course, with the gunfire stuff, my mom's jumped up. We stood up. You couldn't sit. Okay, and I remember my mom actually jumping where her feet came off the floor, her knees, her knees bent back, her feet came off the floor, and she's screaming, "Stop him! Stop him!" And I went, "No," to my dad, right? And I'm not going to say my father's name, okay, but she yelled my father's name, said, "Stop him, stop him!" And if there was one person capable, it would have been him, but he was too far across the room, man. He was too far across the room. All right, and I don't know why people don't just gang up and take somebody down, man, because that's the moment I learned that's what you got to do to survive, okay? So anyway, my mom, "Stop him!" And I say, "No, he's got another gun. He'll shoot us." Oh, my God. He squatted down. Butch was right at the fireplace, right across from me, and he squatted down, and he grinned. And he took his right hand, and I'll never forget it, and he pulled a gun out of the inside of the coat jacket, and he pointed it at me, and he grinned. And then my dad was like, "That's just a kid. Leave her alone." And other people were like, "Well, okay." So then, God, the dude, no, I'm sorry if I'm out of order, but I know exactly what happened because I was there. Okay. I don't remember. No. He pointed the gun at me, and then the dude, sprained ankle dude, got up to try to run, and he couldn't because he had a sprained ankle. So he gets up, and then Butch goes and he's like, and it was two dudes, by the way. I didn't mention that yet. It was Butch coming in with the gun out. The other dude didn't have a gun out. The other dude was like, it looked like he didn't know what the hell was going on. It looked like he didn't come to shoot anybody. He looked shocked, too. His name was Ron. Okay, his name was Ron, and he looked shocked. So I don't believe 1 minute Ron came to kill anybody. I don't. Okay, so sprained ankle dude gets up and tries to flee. Tries to skedaddle, and he can't. So Butch gets up from a squat and comes over. And hey, thanks, sprained ankle dude, for taking the attention off of me, by the way. Okay? Because I don't know. Oh, and it wasn't the first time I met Butch. He knew who I was because he had me tune in psychic stuff for him, too, with maps on where to go. And that was to deal drugs. That's what that was for. He didn't tell me that, but, I figured that one out, because this is only part one of my whole experience with Butch at the Roadhouse, okay? He had a different name later. I'll tell you that name, too, when we come to that chapter. All right. So, the dude says, "Where you going, man?" And he says, "Hey, man, I didn't have nothing to do with this. I got a sprained ankle." And he's like, "You got a sprained ankle." And he grabbed him. And the dude's, ow, 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 ow. As he drags him into the kitchen. Well, he didn't drag him. He hobbles into the kitchen. See the door swinging. Okay, however, the door's here. The little kitchen table that was against the wall was right here. So you can see he went to the right. And we can hear, "Hey, man, come on, man, hey," stuff. And you can hear the noise. And what he did was he bent him. Oh, he put the guy over the kitchen table. And he shot him in the head. And you could hear it. You could hear it. Okay? You could hear his body fall. And then he comes in. Oh, God, I feel so sorry for these guys. And these two punks, the redhead and his friend. I'd love to see you to your face. I'd love to see either one of you to your face. I would. Okay? They go, "Cool, Butch, man. Oh, hey, man, cool. All right, Butch, can we leave?" And Butch says, "Yeah, you guys go on and get out of here." So those two, they're witnesses. They're witnesses. And if you showed me pictures of them from that time, I guarantee you I can point the red-headed dude out and probably the brown-headed dude, too. If you have a school photo, I bet you I can point them out. Okay? All right. Okay. Well, that's when all hell starts breaking loose even more. Okay. And they shot. I'm just going to stop there because I can tell you where these people were shot. Okay. I'm going to tell you. So I'm credible here. I want this video passed around because I want people to hear it. Because I witnessed that murder. Okay? And I tried to do something about it. I'll get to that in a point in a minute. Okay, the chick with the long dark hair, she got shot a total 3 times. I'm going to point them out to you. I'm not. I can tell you that. I can tell you where they laid in the house, in the room. I'm not going to go over that right now. I'm just going to tell you enough so people that might know something about this know I know. Detective Ron Miller. I don't know if he's still alive, but he knows about this case. Okay, Detective Ron Miller, Cincinnati. He told me there must be a police report around somewhere. He couldn't help me when I called him to talk to him about it. All right. So anyway, okay. So she was shot, lower abdomen, stomach, about maybe solar plexus, and then when she was crawling on the floor. By the way, if you ever get shot or if there's a shooting, just lay down and play dead. And if you do get shot, just go ahead and play dead. Don't try to crawl away. Just stay still because she might be alive. She might have stayed alive if she didn't freaking try to crawl, because 5 minutes passed and she's trying to crawl, okay, and get away, and she's moaning, and then he just looks over, shoots her. It was her neck got shot, and then she was out. Rodney got shot 3 times. We got away. My mother's shoe came off running down the steps. They let me and my mom go. I don't want to go into too much because, like I said, I may write a book about this. Okay? So I want to add more. They let me and my mom go. But my mom freaked because they didn't let my dad go. She didn't realize it at first. And we got like almost all the way down the steps before we had to run back. And then, oh man, did some hell break loose. Bottom line, Ron and Spirit didn't let this dude shoot me. The way it worked out, we were blessed. I wasn't meant to die that night. Nobody was meant to die that night in my family. Okay, but my mother's shoe came off. It was a slip-on. It came off on the step. Both shoes came off. She grabbed one. She thought my dad grabbed the other, but he didn't. And it wasn't until we were in the car when she realized that her shoe came off. I can tell you some other details. And that would have been, I think it probably would have been a size 6.5. It might have been a 7. I'm pretty sure it was not over a 7. The shoes were a little bit big for her, but she liked them, so she bought them. They were half a size too big. Okay? We got in the car, and the police station, I think it was District 5, I'm not sure, was right down the street. We got in the car and we drove. I remember looking across the street and thinking, can I run? Can I run and get help? Because there's all the steps going up to the houses. And I was such a little kid, I'd have never made it up there. They just shot me. And that was before we got in the car. As I said, I can't go into too much detail. But I felt like I might have the opportunity to have ran to a neighbor's and got away and made a whole different scenario. And it was Mount Storm Park. And I remember the people that owned the houses across the street up on the hill there with all the steps, they would complain that people from the Roadhouse would walk in their grass to cut through to Mount Storm Park instead of going up the road and around. Okay, so we didn't even turn off onto Ludlow. And my father threw up. He opened the car door and he threw up. And Butch and Ron drove past when my father was throwing up. Okay? And so we made the right and we went down to the police station. And my dad was going to, Go in and tell them. And my mom started going, what happened back there? What happened back there? I know something happened back there. What happened back there? And my dad was like, come on, don't do this. You know what happened back there. So my mom flipped. My dad was freaked out. I told him, it's okay. I'll tell him what happened and that Butch did it. Okay, and my mom was like, what? You know, and all this. And she wasn't making sense. And I'm sorry, but the truth is my dad was right. The truth is if we'd have walked in the police station, my father probably would have went to jail for the rest of his life for killing people that he didn't kill. Okay? And so let's just go ahead and let me sum it up for y'all. This murder started the biker war, I believe. We had biker wars in Cincinnati where they would bomb each other. Okay? Outlaws, Iron Horsemen. Okay? My father, I can't say who my father was, but I know a lot of bikers in the Cincinnati area. Okay? My father, never mind. I don't want to say. I've already said, my father was a Harley doctor, okay? My father ended up becoming a Harley doctor. All right. The thing at the Roadhouse, the reason these people were murdered is because over in Newport, there was pack runners for the Newport mob, the Newport Mafia, all right? Pack runners, which were bikers. I think they were Hell's Angels, but I don't really know, okay? They were running some drugs to Newport. Some dudes knew about it. They hid in the bushes, and they shot the pack runner. And they stole a shoebox full of brown stuff. I now know that was heroin. As a kid, if you see a shoebox full of brown stuff, I couldn't tell you really what it was. But I did see syringes. So I know it was heroin and not marijuana, brown, Mexican brown or some kind of brown marijuana. I know it was heroin. Okay? So, rumors started in all this, and somehow that shoebox of heroin ended up at the Roadhouse. So Rodney left the back door unlocked so that these guys could come confront the first dude that was shot, Iggy. Oh, Iggy didn't die. Iggy ended up in a wheelchair. But you know what? Oh my God, they laid there for 3 days. Shelly was on vacation, or not vacation. Shelly was camping. Shelly found the bodies. And I never got to go back to another psychic development because Shelly left town, because Shelly was so traumatized, she left Cincinnati and went back home. Okay? So that was that. All right. So anyway, they laid there for 3 days because I think it was Friday night. Could have been Saturday night, but I think it was 3 days because it was Monday morning when Shelly went to knock on the door for Rodney because he would drive her to school, to UC, and he didn't answer. So after school, she checked on him and ended up opening the door, and there was the dead bodies. They also, I forgot to bring this up, the cat that was there was a cat there. It was meowing when these guys came in when the guy came in shooting. Oh, he made Ron shoot a guy. The two guys that didn't have anything to do with the Roadhouse. I'm not going to say where they were shot right now because I want to save some, okay? Because their bodies were left there, all right? Butch put the cat in the closet. And that cat was locked in that closet all that time. Is that horrible? All right? Anyway. So these bodies lay there for 3 days, except for 2 of them. Cassandra, the blonde, her family was moving out of town. Okay. He took her down to the river and cut her heart out and did some satanic ritual and bragged about it. The circle knew it. People were afraid of him. His dad was a big shot millionaire. His dad's dead now, but he's a millionaire. Might have been a multimillionaire. I don't know, because it ain't really that big of a deal when you're a millionaire. But anyway, so in Texas. And I can give you some names. Okay? Alrighty? And, but I'm not going to just do that to do that. All right? All right? And I know they're all going to get their karma. Okay? Because that's the way it is. But there's families that their loved ones were murdered and they don't know what happened. Okay? And that's messed up. They'll know what happened when they get on the other side because it's all transparent. And you know everything after you get to the evolvement on the other side. So it's not just like, boom, I'm on the other side, I know everything. You have to evolve. Okay. All right. So that bothered me that the cat was locked in the closet for 3 days. So he took Cassandra down to the river, cut her heart out, did a satanic ritual, bragged about it. People were afraid of him. All right. The dude with the sprained ankle. Okay. They took him in the backyard and put him in a freezer that they weren't using. All right. So when this is on the news and they say 5 bodies were found, and my mom's like, there was more people than that. Oh, yeah. Suddenly my mom remembers when we're watching the news. Okay. But she was just traumatized. Some people get really, really super traumatized and they can bounce back and forth with blacking out of remembering something or not. Okay. Now, I was briefed on what was going to happen, that there was going to be a murder psychically. Okay. And I got great spirit with me. So I wasn't traumatized the way that my parents were. Okay. A little bit, but not like they were. Because all my mom wanted to do was sleep. She had PTSD and became a depressed person after that. Yeah. And we didn't do much anymore. Okay. As far as going to parks and different stuff like that. All right. So anyway, so on TV, my mom's like, there was more people shot than that. And I counted them and there was 7 and they want to know what happened to the people. I didn't know about the girl. Well, I don't remember saying anything about that. But when they asked me where the guy was, I said, he's in the backyard. Okay. Well, because I didn't say he's in a freezer in the backyard, they thought I was inaccurate. Or my mom did. Because they ended up finding his body in the freezer. They had a memorial at the Roadhouse. We went. Guess who was there? The 2 dudes that walked in and were in on the murder. Okay, and Butch. Oh, and this guy comes up to me. He goes, you said something about this one time, about people getting killed here. And they knew I was a psychic. They didn't know how seriously psychic I was, really. But they never had a reason to because it's not like I was reading for them or anything. They just knew that I went and did development. Okay, and he went to ask, he said, do you know anything? Can you tell us anything? And my dad interfered and walked between, and because the dude squatted down to ask me. And my dad said, now she's just a little kid, leave her alone. Okay, and then a little bit later, well, I did say to him, I know who did it, but I'm not allowed to tell. But I'm going to tell when I grow up. I said, I'm not allowed to tell if I didn't know who did it, whatever. But I didn't let him know that I really, really knew who did it. And I said, well, probably Butch did it. And I looked over because Butch was over there. And everybody knew he was evil. All right. They knew who his dad was. And you knew you couldn't touch him because his dad just had you killed. All right. So anyway, at one point, I do end up over there in front of Butch. And I said, I want to tell and they won't let me. But I'm going to tell when I grow up. You'll see. I'm telling right here, right now. I tried to tell, but when you pay off the FBI and homicide and vice to remove a police report, it's kind of hard to tell, isn't it? Well, it's kind of hard to do anything about it. All right. You know that punk twisted my arm, right? Started twisting in my arm. All right. There's another chapter to this because he came after me. He stalked me for 5 years. And I didn't even know it. I felt like I was followed. I didn't even go. I feel like I'm being followed. Okay, so that's another story. My video is long enough. All right, but it was Butch, and his name was Barry that murdered the people at the Roadhouse. Okay, and it was his buddy Ron that was forced to go with him that really, I cannot say is guilty for murdering people, although he got pulled in on it, so he's not innocent. All right. So I did want to say that, okay, because it's a relief to be able to get it off my chest on what happened at the Roadhouse murder, Cincinnati, Ohio. Okay? Share this video. All right? Because I'll tell you, the punk that did this, it's been like 5 years since I checked on him because I got his digits. I got his digits, okay? So anyway, people, I just wanted to share the Roadhouse in case there's anybody out there. Oh, no, hold on. All right. I forgot this stuff happened for 21 years until this guy came back around. That's a whole nother story. I will talk about that in my spaceship memory, but I do want to back up here and go in reverse. That, like, people block things from their mind, and I did do that. I didn't remember it happened. My dad used to say, do you remember the Roadhouse? And I'd go, a little bit, sometimes. I remember the front yard, but I couldn't remember anything other than that. And I would bring up the Roadhouse, okay? We used to go to a hangout called the Roadhouse when I was a kid, but I didn't realize I didn't remember anything. Now, hold on. Where was I going? Because this was important. I hate it when I get off track. Okay. So, remembering the Roadhouse. My mom coming out, pointing him out. That's not what I was going to talk about. I don't know. It was really important, though. Crap. All right, I'm hitting pause. All righty. Mine slipped for a minute. Yeah, this is really, really important. Okay. Another reason why this needs to get passed around about the Roadhouse murders. Okay. Now, they'll tell you there's a Roadhouse in Indiana, and I have been there. They'll tell you there was a Roadhouse on House Street. There's a different Roadhouse that I remember. And I do remember going to the one on House Street after the people were shot here. And I did see Shelley there. I did not get out and go into the house on House Street, I don't think, except for maybe once, if I did go the once. All right. Okay. Okay, so I was in a bar in Reading, Ohio, and there you could hear some Harleys pulling up, okay? And this is Pike Street and Reading Road, okay? Just want to keep it clear here, okay, with a little detail. So I'm in this bar, okay? I'm 21 years old. This is 1985. Okay, and I hear some Harleys, and these two guys come in, all right? And so I bring up the Harley conversation with them a little bit, mention my dad was a Harley doctor or whatever, and they say, yeah, this dude goes, he looked like he's about in his 30s, okay, this is 85, and he says, yeah, we used to go to this hangout called the Roadhouse back in the 60s, and I said, I used to go there with my dad. And he said, you never went there. A bunch of people died there. And I said, yeah, I know. I watched them die. I was there the night they got shot. And I said, 1969. Well, I was off. It was 68. I had just turned 4. Because I didn't bring up that they were saying, like, happy belated birthday to me and stuff. He tried to tell me it was like 67, 68. But it was 68, okay? I was off on the 69 thing. And the CD that came out in 1969 with all the hits, I think that kind of threw me off too. But I knew it was right before kindergarten too. But I also remember my mom going, I'm glad you're not in kindergarten yet. Okay, and I didn't bring up the little girl that got kidnapped from across the street. All right after this, and they were threatening to kidnap me, and being told to run from bikers, and the other little kids in the neighborhood being told, if bikers come around, make sure Melissa runs, right? Okay, so anyway, Tom, you gave me your number and all that on a match thing, right? Matchbook. And I put it in my drawer. And then when I moved from Cincinnati, I pulled it out and I said, who's Tom? And I threw it away. And then after I remembered the murder, I remembered that you gave me your number, because I told you, I know who did it. His name was Butch, and I'm going to find him. Well, I didn't find him. He found me. However, with this, I will go ahead and say, maybe Tom came in and started talking because it was a setup. because I also didn't mention, this is going to be spaceship memory number 3, okay, about how they were coming to my house when I turned 18 to see if I remembered or not. Ron did. Yeah, that's right. Ron did. And the whole other part 3, spaceship memory. So there's a bunch going into that. So anyway, Tom brings up, I said, well, why don't you go get a police report or whatever. I don't remember how it came up. He said there's not even a police report on it. Okay. So then also when I remembered it, my dad said, well, why don't you go ahead and see if you can find a police report on it? Because you know why? Because he knows I won't. Okay. And also in spaceship memory number 3, we'll try and remember to talk about Elton bringing one of the guns to my house and making us keep it. Yeah. And then Elton ended up dead because they killed him. Because that's what they do. Anyway, that's my Roadhouse murder story for you guys. And I can go in a lot more detail if ever need be. And I just want to say thanks for watching my video. Peace out, Christ love, Christ light, and ciao for now.